Chainsaw Man.
Praise be to the Lord Chainsaw Man, for he is our savior here. Donate to the harem of bitches.
Not even that was a lie, bro. I like that. I really like that. You can tell Fujimoto, he is following in the Okubo Soul Eater / Fire Force author's footsteps in hating religion.
I fucking love it, and hating America, honestly.
Yeah. Well, no. If you actually think that that's media illiteracy from your part, because he's clearly making fun of
I know.
You know, like, because again, what he's doing here is he's showing like a church movement, you know, not always, but I suppose, you know, it seems like he's kind of putting it out there, like, oh, even though this is a Church of Chainsaw Man, they're still falling back on traditional church shit, you know, like sex is
misinformation,
for reproduction, and you know, you're gonna have sex with this girl, you're immediately gonna marry her, and we're just gonna keep having children to fuel the cult of Chainsaw Man.
I kind of like that idea though, like
what are you talking
how
about?
He's playing into
narratively.
Into that. Yeah.
Wait, hold on. I thought you were like, I missed. I like the idea of having a fucking arranged marriage. You know, no, I don't got to do any work.
My brother in Christ, I'm literally sitting here wearing a Blackcraft shirt saying "Religion will tear us apart." Okay, like I'm the most anti-religion person on the planet.
But I could see you wanting a government mandated, you know, mommy dummy, since you have such little luck with relationships. I saw your fucking notepad tweet, like you have like you what do you got, 1 million followers, like everyone needs to know about your goddamn relationship status. Jesus Christ.
It's more the fact that this one was playing more into the community, like they were actively giving like her like anime recommendations and stuff to try to get back into it. So I'm like, I want to at least address
TLDR. Vex broke up with his 37th girlfriend.
No, not so much broke up as
it was mutual. It was mutual. Yeah.
She wants to move back home, which, you know, go for it. I'd rather her be happy and be able to like start a family, whereas like
fuck buddies.
I can't.
Hold on. Maybe they can start a family and you can still be fuck buddies, depending on how progressive they are. Like, you know.
I mean, this was the relationship that kind of led me into the idea, like polyamory and stuff.
You could be the active NTR. Like once a year, she gets NTR'd and the husband's like jerking off in the corner.
But no, like, it's really like this wholesome thing is like, yeah, you're welcome to come join us down there anytime you want. I'm like, I'm just now getting my footing here in the music scene here in Michigan. I really don't want to lose out on that opportunity.
Chainsaw Man, though. Sometimes I just want to make fun of you and then move on. You don't need. This is not a court of law. You don't get the opportunity to defend yourself.
I will sit here and I will fucking turn this into Amber Heard, Johnny Depp. Okay.
Jesus. So like, what was I gonna say here? Yeah. So I mean, like, immediately, like, it's just okay. Let's talk about the America thing we were talking about, because I actually find that really interesting, right? Because I feel like this is Fujimoto firmly, you know, planting his stance, which is like, you know, and I don't know the history exactly of like everything that went on in Japan, but I'm getting the vibe that, like, you know, probably before Japan, I'm sorry, when Japan was like isolationist, and before they kind of like after World War II, like opened up to every like the world, I imagine they probably did do marriage in a more like, you know, oh, your 14-year-old girl needs a husband. Well, my 15-year-old boy is here. Hurry, have him fuck. You know, like I imagine they probably were doing that shit. And like this, like, I don't know, this idea I could see unironically. And again, I know nothing about Japanese culture, at least in this respect, but I could totally see like Japanese boomers being like, things were better before the Western influence. You know, you hear that. I mean, you don't hear it personally, but I'm sure you've read about like, this is the talking points they'll give in like other countries, like, oh, the influence of like Western culture has ruined our country, right? Like
we also have it here where like Eastern culture kind of corrupted our youth, like with hentai and porn and all this shit.
Porn is not an Eastern culture thing.
No, but like, you get the point I'm getting at. Like,
no, I actually don't. What I'm talking about is specifically these countries over there were a lot more isolationist, a lot more.
For sure.
They were really strong in their own personal like cultures and stuff. And then when the world became more interconnected, especially with the internet and you know, starting mostly post World War II, especially with Japan, like the youth is a lot more like cool with like America and like other sides of the world, whereas the boomers are like, it was better when we were like fucking twing 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 twing, falling cherry blossoms and closed borders.
Yeah, so I studied a lot of Eastern culture in late high school, early college, before you and I even met.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's been a very, very long time since I dove into that, but you are right. Like, they did really worship that era of, like, isolationism and just keeping the border secure to where, like, they
they were
had
super
this
closed borders. I know that because like Wano in One Piece is based off of feudal Japan, and like that's a big like thing in Wano is like opening the border because no one else wants it open.
Yeah, so like once we started being able to travel over there, and they assumed we were just corrupting their youth, like you're getting at, and it's very bizarre to see it talked about to some sort of degree through media from this perspective, you know.
This is one of the first chapters in a while where I've been, because normally when you're reading or absorbing like media and art, a good piece of art I think can kind of give you a lens into like the beliefs of the artist, right? And people that don't want that are fucking stupid. Like I've talked to people who like are proponents of like AI art, and I'm like to me AI art, one of the reasons it would never be ever as good as people art to me.
Soul.
Yeah, exactly, right? So like if an AI writes a song about being broken up by their girlfriend, that didn't happen. There's no like heart behind that, right? And, like when I
could literally log on to ChatGPT now and have it make a song in like 2 seconds. It's the most soulless fucking shit on the planet. I actually did do that to make a shitpost to prove the point of how.
And it's not even about how quick it makes it. It's like when I listen to a song, a lot of it's like, damn, this came from somewhere, right? This came from an experience that guy had, and like now I don't feel that. And like there are some fucking like empty husks of people that when they think of art, they think of like pretty colors on a screen, and they don't even consider like the heart behind it, you know, and like those people.
Well, I mean, that's also like influencer culture too. That's kind of helped dive into that because they want to milk shit like that to the nth degree. If you go, I went down a YouTube rabbit hole a couple days ago where I was just watching like YouTubers just go and tour like the fucking Louvre and the British Museum and try and react to the shit that was on display there, and it's the most like basic level understanding of art, like 5th grade art class understanding of art, and it's the most disgusting thing. I'm like, these are the motherfuckers that would go crazy for like generated bullshit that they just throw 75 prompts in.
You know, like I'm sure you, because I even remember like it being a big meme back in the day, like you know, making fun of modern art, right? Like, it's like a plunger on the floor, art. They'll call anything art, right? And like
a banana taped to the wall. How is that art?
Right, and like to an extent, you know, there is a real thing about like wealthy people abusing this. There's like a loophole where if you buy art, it's not tax deduct, or it's something. I don't. So there is like a whole thing of where rich people
Batman
will just like
destroys a city, donates a fucking piece of art, then gets a tax write-off for Wayne Enterprises. Yeah.
Well, it's something along the lines of like rich people will just like shove a banana on the floor and then call it art and then be used as a tax write-off. I don't know exactly, but like for the most part, even if you don't like it, you should still be able to respect a piece of art as like, well, you know, at least there's like a meaning behind that, right? Like I respect the banana taped to the wall far more than like the most immaculate, beautiful piece of AI artwork. You know what I mean? Like.
Oh yeah.
I'm trying to remember how we got to this. How did I come to this from Chainsaw Man?
We were talking about like the fucking infiltration of the culture here.
How did we get to AI though? I can't remember.
I honestly do not know.
Well,
this
either
is
way,
Control Chaos.
I think I remember because like with art, you can kind of get the vibe of like the person's beliefs. I was talking about that, right?
Right.
And like, you know, usually Fujimoto, it's a bit tougher, at least recently, but like with this chapter, I just really felt like Fujimoto's hand, like in it. Like I can really get a vibe for his beliefs, his political beliefs, his religious beliefs, and I mean, like, you know, I've gotten he's a very young artist, young author, and I get the vibe of like a very progressive young guy here because it's very like, you know, because I mean implicitly what he's saying here is like this church. Think about it. This is a church where they kicked out an old cult, and they replaced it. They replaced everyone with young students. They're all youngins, right? And there's this like argument that's like, oh, the problem isn't religion.
They didn't so much kick it out as the problem they absorbed it.
Yeah. Well, that's a good point. But also, like, there's this argument of like, oh, well, the problem isn't like religion itself, it's the it's like boomers and the old. But this is to me, it almost feels like he's saying like religion in and of itself, that like cult like mindset, and like specifically religion, it like relies on you having, I'm trying to think of how do I want to word this here. It relies on you believing in things without like applying the scientific method, right? Like religion relies on like faith, and like when everything you believe in doesn't have to be like tested with like the hold on, does this make sense? And you just have to blindly believe it. You will almost inevitably come to these. Hold on, I'm still talking. You would almost inevitably come to these like insane conclusions. You know what I mean? So I feel like he's saying like, this feels to me like a shot across the bow against religion and cult-like mentality in general. It doesn't matter that they're all young. It doesn't matter that they've kicked out adults. This is the youth falling for the same fucking thing and going just as crazy.
Yeah, and you see that with modern evangelicals too. Like it's mind-boggling, like how easily corrupted they were, and it's the fault of their parents, and it's the fault of like the generation before that just feeds them down this fucking rabbit hole of bullshit without teaching them how to think for themselves, because they don't want them to think for themselves. They want them to follow the same belief system, the same hateful rhetoric that they believe in.
Well, this is an interesting case too, because like, you know, this is the youth running this. There's no like, well, see, because like I was gonna say there's no adult like kind of like leading the charge here, but obviously like, it feels to me like someone took the energy and hype around Chainsaw Man, and then, you know, and of course they have like this fake guy pretending to be Chainsaw Man, and like Fammy's doing something and yada yada, but they took that and then like turned it into this cult. And we know how easy it is. I mean, do you remember the Kai Cenat like riot like a couple weeks ago? Mm-hmm. Do you actually know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. There's a fucking streamer that was just trying to give away like gifts in downtown New York.
A perfect example of how when someone's that popular, if Kai Cenat wanted to, because that was literally just him trying to give away PS5s, right?
Yep.
If he was like, "Ayo, we're about to do January 6th 2 Electric Boogaloo," you know what I mean?
You would have like an entire batch of idiot,
and they would get gunned down because they're not white, unfortunately. You know, as is our military to do. But like, you know what I mean? Like the power, right? And we learned, I don't exactly remember the exact wording, but it was basically like half of the population like hates Chainsaw Man, half the population loves Chainsaw Man, right? But this is like a super divisive issue in Chainsaw Man world. So basically Denji has like a Trump level cult in like, but unfortunately, again, he didn't, like we talked about earlier, he didn't strike when the iron was hot, so that cult is not in his control anymore, and he totally lost control of it. And we were discussing this earlier too, how this is going to be like an example of how it can kind of get out of your hands, right? Think about like the stuff that this church is like spouting and believing in is totally opposite of what Denji would want. Denji would be like, I want everyone to be in a polycule. We're all gonna it's just gonna be sex and harems all day. But now, like because he didn't fucking take advantage of this cult shit when he could have, now it's this weird shit where they're like literally, it's actually kind of, this is pretty dark if you think about it. They are forcing, 100%. They're like not forcing, but like heavily peer pressuring, and like children to get married. You know what I and fuck. I mean, they're literally like, "Oh, you like Chainsaw Man? I do too." And they shove a fucking like underage kid into a room to fuck another underage kid, and then they get them legally married, presumably, and then they get like they're like literally like making women get like underage pregnant. If you think about it, there's so many fucked up implications about what's happening here.
Well, I mean, even back then, it did not take much to become an ordained minister. Like I did so. So, like I am an agnostic human being that is an ordained minister. It does not take much. My
it's
friend.
Very easy. Andy's my buddy Andy's mother was one too. I mean, it's like a quick little online thing, right?
Yep, it's literally that. It's just as easy to become an ordained. Yeah, it's just as easy to become notary public. Like,
although I don't know what the process is in Japan, but I guess we can assume it's similar. But yeah, in terms of the America thing, that's really interesting too, because again, I feel like that's Fujimoto making fun of like the boomers that are super anti-America, right? Because obviously America as a country has its problems, but I feel like a smart person can separate America the government from like America the people, just like we separate like Russia the government from Russia the people, you know? And
smart ones do anyway.
Yeah, exactly. And so like I feel like that's them making fun of, and it's just crazy that these young kids have fallen for that, and it makes me wonder because clearly whoever's in charge of this has to, like, this isn't something, I don't see students naturally coming to these conclusions of like, yeah, fuck America and fuck I want a trad wife where we just have children all day and like that's my existence. Like, I don't understand. So it has to be some weird fammy shit. Fammy, fake Sawman. I'm so curious, like, what the fucking end goal of this entire operation is. And I guess that leads us to Flamethrower Man here at the end. Go ahead and give your take, and then I'll give mine.
So I just want to weigh on one other thing about this church, because sure. You're spot on. Like, how easy it is to start a cult is terrifying, and like you can see once power gets out of the hands of the person in charge. Look at the, and I hate using it, but it is the most obvious version right now. Look at Trumpism here, right? Because you still see the cult of personality that is Trump affecting that. Like, I want the most indicted, I want the most impeached person just to stir up controversy, and that is literally like the mindset of the people that are still willing to vote for this person. So back in the early Trump era, like 2016, you saw how his views shifted depending on how much further he got out of control. So like,
I know what you're saying, right? Like it slowly kind of slipped out of control, and then he had to kind of. I feel like he's at the point now where he has to do what the cult wants him to, rather than the cult doing what he. Right. So like, a good example is, I always got the vibe that Trump personally didn't give a fuck about gay stuff. You know what I mean?
Like, he literally still sells LGBT for Trump merch on his store.
Yeah, and you remember him like hugging the gay flag and like gays for Trump, and like I don't think he gave a fuck, but because and you can, and one of the few beautiful things about Trump is how honest he is, right? Because like hold on, he lies a lot, but he's like accidentally honest.
Yeah.
There was a speech very recently where like he was talking about like the stuff that used to work before the cult got so fucking galvanized. He was doing his we gotta cut taxes. He was doing the whole not gonna cut Social Security. He was gonna drain the swamp. And it's like, whatever, crickets. Then he brings up the whole like, and we gotta get rid of these trans groomers from the schools. And then the crowd fucking erupts, and you can see Trump is like visually like kind of shocked by this, and he's like, it's crazy, and then he does his Trump thing where he just says what is on his mind without a filter. He's like, it's crazy, I mentioned all these other policies and I get nothing, but I say this about the trans groomers, and you guys go wild, that no one even knows. I think I remember what he said. He said no one even knew about this issue 3 years ago. Mm-hmm. So it's like, you're totally right. Like, you can tell his heart isn't in it when he, and again, not that it makes him not dangerous, because he will in a heartbeat. He would kill, like unironically, like the fucking.
He would shoot his son if it got him farther.
The Monsters Inc. quote: "I'll kill 1,000 transes to get one vote."
Right.
I'll kill 1,000 transes before I let this political campaign die. No, seriously, like you can tell, like, he's just saying it because I totally agree. So like, yeah, I mean, that's you're seeing that in real life, like, play out, and this is like kind of what we're seeing here with the Chainsaw Man Church. I mean, it's got his imagery all over it, and it has nothing to do with anything that he's ever stood for ever. It's
exactly.
Insane.
And you can trace this kind of behavior back from cult to cult to cult to cult to like Heaven's Gate, to the Manson family, to anything that ever got out of the hands of the actual cult leader, right?
I think it all literally does come down to, in order to get, because like the type of fandom that these cult leaders want is an unquestioning, undying loyalty, right? And when you train your fandom or your followers to be unquestioning and undying, it trains them to not think critically. And if you have a group of people that are not thinking critically, eventually, like if you're not thinking critically, what's to stop you from believing the Earth's flat? What's to stop you from believing the Jews run the whole world? What's to stop you from believing in, Democrats drinking baby blood to fucking get bigger penises? I don't know.
fucking adrenochrome. Really, we're going down that rabbit hole.
That's still prevalent. QAnon shit.
Oh, I know. But like, I have a morbid fascination for true crime, like most white people.
Facts. Specifically
so,
white women, which you are one now, right?
Honestly, like it all makes
Once I
sense.
started taking the estrogen, I was really into true crime podcasts. No correlation.
None whatsoever. No, I like heavily.
Allie
like,
too, man, and she's like the most like the boys girl I've ever met, and even she can't deny her fucking heritage of being a white woman who wants to I'll literally like get onto her fucking YouTube because she's got YouTube
it's
Premium.
fucking cursed, I bet.
She's got YouTube Premium.
Monster
so no ads.
fucking and true crime.
So I'm like, all right, and then it's just like this girl got murdered horrifically and chopped up and hid in the woods, and I'm like, why? And she's like, it's interesting.
Yeah, I bet like the Casual Criminalist, Decoding the Unknown, Red Web, and fucking Scary Stories YouTube channels are like top searched on her shit.
I need someone to like psychoanalyze that, like why women are so into that.
No, like I honestly like had a fascination even when I was younger. Before
it's just like me, you with that, and me with liking Undertale and all those other, and Omori. Vex tagged me in a TikTok. It was like, if you like any of these games, you're gay and neurodivergent, or gay or neurodivergent, and probably both. And it was like all of my favorite
every
games
fucking game you play.
Oh,
Omori,
so Celeste, Undertale,
and I think the other one was like Night in the Woods,
which I've watched Utena play. I never played myself, but it did look good.
It is pretty fun. But like I just like this resonates so well for me as somebody that like left the church and also has like a morbid fascination with that stuff. I think what really got me though, Red, is you and I were like, that has to be somebody that was introduced earlier, like because we're going back through and dealing with like all the hybrids that came in, the like Makima Simp Squad as we called them. And then
I knew. Are you talking about Flamethrower guy?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, I knew from I just went and checked like, okay, which one is this? Mostly because he says, but since neither of us remember each other, I was like, okay, so this guy was at the fight, and then I just went back and checked.
Yeah, you had the volume. I was like Googling it because I was sitting here playing Fortnite, watching like Nogla play Mario Party. I'm like, which motherfucking hybrid was this? And like I Googled his goddamn name, right? And it didn't show up anything. It was just like all like Indian recipes and bullshit like that, because I guess that's what Google's whatever algorithm was thinking that name was. And then I go like, okay, we'll just go to the hybrid section of Chainsaw Man Wiki. Scroll down to the bottom, I'm like, it looks like the spear one, but it isn't. And then I click the fucking flamethrower, dude, and it redirects to a link called Bareem now. So why wasn't that?
The problem with Vex was that he was looking at the outfit he's currently in, but the outfit he's currently in doesn't have the suit jacket over it. I went to the actual volume, and in the volume, he's one of two people that have his suit jacket closed, like buttoned up, and the other one was Katana Man. So it was very easy to figure out. Yeah.
I'm too lazy for that when I got Google right here.
I'm begging you to just have a little bit more reading. The reading comprehension devil is really fucking hitting you strong right now lately, man.
I'm reading too much shit right now, my friend.
I don't know. Try harder. I'm fucking holding this channel up like Atlas.
I mean, you have been for a while.
Try harder, Vex. I'm begging you.
But like, I that's my gripe with Google today. In addition to getting copyright struck for my own shit.
How dare they show me Indian recipes?
You know, I don't mind being shown the Indian recipes. Some of them actually look pretty fucking good.
No, your ass doesn't eat anything other than nuggies. You know you'd shit blood if you ate Indian recipes.
But we were having a conversation about that before this fucking recording. Both of us have been struck by the diarrhea devil.
True. You know, that's real. See, now that's actually using that joke.
That is a fear I really have having IBS.
Bro, it's actually fucked up that we haven't seen the diarrhea devil yet. I actually really want to see the diarrhea devil now.
It's the mighty Pooh from Conker's Bad Fur Day.
No, he's too chunky. Diarrhea devil's got to be like viscous. I feel like he'd be like, I'm trying to think what would the diarrhea devil look like? I feel like he'd be like constantly dripping, like poop, like with brown liquid,
like Muck from Pokemon.
Yes, he'd be humanoid, but he'd be constantly poo dripping, and he'd be constantly having to take a shit, like Magellan from One Piece. I don't know if you remember him, but like, yeah.
Oh God.
Oh, that'd be so fucking funny.
That is disgusting. Yeah.
What if? Yeah, that's one of the few devils I feel like wouldn't be a hot, sexy lady.
No, all hot women have tummy problems. Okay.
It's true, but not diarrhea. It's usually because their body is desperately trying to make a baby, and they're like, "Where's the cum at? Ayo."
Cummies for that tummy.
Literally.
I'm gonna puke. I'm gonna puke because I made myself puke.
You love cum, Vex.
Just on my back, not inside me.
So you should have no problem with me coming on your back. I know I'm not your type, but if you just generally like cum on your back, just come on, hit me up.
How did I know to want that?
Because I feel unwanted, and I want to be wanted by you, Vex. Give me power.
I already offered to have you sit on me for a fucking skit, okay?
Sure, I'll do that. I'll wash up real good. Anyway, speaking of I don't know.
Or I was going to sit on you. I was going to sit on you.
Would you get married in the Chainsaw Man chapel? I must know.
In the context of the series, no.
Right, because it would probably be an underage. No,
I'm not trying to get canceled on YouTube.
I want someone to recreate. I mean, all you need is a fucking giant statue of Chainsaw Man in the wedding chapel.
Red, we should get gay married for a fucking video.
For a bit. Well, I mean, all we gotta do is sign with our left hands so it's not legally valid, which is not a real thing, but I think I thought it was from like a movie I saw once.
Like we should have like a wedding ceremony in the Chainsaw Man church.
We should get married, but at the last second be like when someone says, "Does anyone object to this marriage?" We gotta have.
This was all a bit for a YouTube video.
Yeah, well, because if someone there are some places where if someone objects, they actually can't do it. You have to like redo the whole wedding. So like, because I saw like a whole thing where it was like, don't do it, even as like a joke, because some like priests will take it like super seriously and not.
No, like, yeah, that's the thing. It just depends on the denomination of the people there and the fucking priests and a bunch of other factors. But yeah.
Everyone must. Apparently, I didn't even know about this, but it totally makes sense. Because I was making a joke to Allie a couple days ago that, like, when we get married, I was like, oh, I'm going to blow your back out the night we get married. And then I, instead of, like, after the wedding, I said at the wedding on accident. And then I was like, yeah, dude, everyone's going to watch us fuck. And then she told me that, like, yeah, apparently back in the day, certain places they would have like a guy like specifically watch like when the couple fucked for the first time to make sure the woman was a fucking virgin. Like, is she bleeding?
And to make sure the marriage was consummated. Yeah,
right. But all yeah, but that too. But like, does that mean like if she wasn't bleeding, like, oh shit, this bitch was a whore, fucking rocker, stoned her to death?
I believe that's kind of where it was.
Damn.
Yeah, it was a wild time back when women had no rights whatsoever.
Gotta love, back 20 years ago.
Oof. And possibly in the near future in America.
Hold on, let me just check my favorite statistic for this. Hold on. When could women have a bank account alone? 1974. Boys.
Fucking like 40 years ago. 40 fucking years ago
or some shit. You better be fucking married by the time you're 18 if you want a goddamn bank account. I guess maybe they could have had it under their parents, but like, yeah, literally.
Yeah, it's fucking wild, isn't it? Right? So I wonder if that'll become a thing again. And since I'm transitioning, if I can't have my own fucking bank account again.
That'd be tough.
Everything's crypto by then.
It'd be a fun, interesting situation, because the Supreme Court personally would have to look at your case and then be like, okay, so he's trans, so we hate him, but we want to be able to
male.
But it'd be funny if we took away his bank account. It'd be like ironic because he says he's a woman. So, but if we do that, we're validating his gender identity, which we don't want to do. But we do want to take away his bank account. God damn it. And then they're like, oh, the answer was so obvious. Trans people cannot have a bank account.
Trans people in general, you're all fucked. Mm-hmm. Absolutely fucked.
Trans people's money is no good. If they try to buy things, not allowed. Starve. Die.
Do they own a Blahai? If they own a Blahai, they are no longer valid in this country.
Right next to my Blahai.
Jesus Christ.
By the way, yeah, remember your fucking jokes about like the egg or whatever, like me, the fucking evidence keeps piling up, my friend, because like I've had one of these fucking sharks here. I'm just sending a picture right now next to my naked ass leg. I've had one of these
leg.
Oh yeah, it's good. I've had one of these goddamn sharks for like a year, bro. I had no idea it was a trans icon.
Redo's a fucking
I love him.
Egg.
Bro, it fits so well because like Allie bought this because she's a big fan of sharks, right? But then like I just started cuddling with it, and it feels so nice to cuddle. Like I've never like I've never like stolen any of her plushies, but I've been making the joke for like a year, like this one's mine. I love this one, and now I fucking find out that it's like a trans detector.
Red, you want to borrow some of my makeup?
Honestly, heck yeah.
Oh my God. I can't even do my own fucking makeup.
Yeah, that shit looks way too hard. I'm way too stupid for that.
My fucking YouTube algorithm is so cursed. It's like true crime, fucking the goons, and makeup tutorials.
Bro, do you know what? Wait, hold on. I got a good segment for the channel. Do you know what gooning means? Have we discussed this?
The like over addiction or overstimulation of porn. Yeah.
Kind of. Here. It's more like, you know when you edge, and it's that like state right before you come?
Mm-hmm.
And it's basically like if you were to stay in that for like hours.
Oh God.
So you want me to read it? All right, everybody. This is the newest Urban Dictionary trend. Okay. Gooning may be most simply defined as the state usually achieved after a prolonged edging session when a man becomes completely hypnotized by the feeling radiating from his penis. Since a gooning state can only be achieved after edging, the man's dick will have become mightily aroused at this point. Every caress to the male genitals are subjected to will trigger potent elation as the man keeps edging, thus keeps experiencing intense pleasure. He enters a state of trance where his mind intimately merges with his cock. The gooning state, where he and his dick become one. To be more accurate, when the gooning state is achieved, the man's body, for all intents and purposes, is an appendage to his erection. When this state is achieved, the male becomes freed of all social codes of conduct, and his arousal alone dictates his reactions. As a result, a gooned out man will become very expressive and demonstrative. He may become very vocal while his body and face takes on undignified expressions and poses, all in response to the intensely exquisite caresses his penis is exposed to. Hence the term goon, since at this point the male is effectively looks like a silly, foolish, or eccentric person.
Yeah. So I'm in the r/gooned subreddit.
Well, and then Allie, fucking, I love her to death, but Allie's toxic trait is that she'll fucking every word under the sun, she'll just know. She'll have the knowledge that it was a slur at some point. She was like, "Oh, don't say that." I'm like, "What do you mean?" And then like I'm like, "That's not real." And then we'll look it up, and it turns out goon was a fucking slur back in like the 1700s. And I'm like, "How do you know this? And why are you getting on my ass about goon being a slur a long time ago? You can't be mad at me about that."
I love that she's a goddamn dictionary for shit like that, right? But holy shit, if we wanted to like cancel every word that was ever considered a slur,
that was my point. Exactly.
Like we couldn't use queer in the LGBTQ, acronym. We couldn't use like
the other one that she gets on me for, and I know this one's a bit more recent, is okay, I'm sure you've heard this one, like spook, or like saying like you're a spook or that's a spook. Have you ever heard that one?
I'm not as familiar with.
So that one was also, most of them were for black people, I think. But like that one too, it's like I've heard fucking Scooby-Doo be like, "Oh, you got a couple of spooks over here." Or, "Oh, you spooked me." You know what I mean? And like, so right. I've used it in that context where it's like, or do you ever watch Hat Films? I think it's Hat Films, the people who made Llamas with Hats.
That's Film Cow that made Llamas with Hats. But yeah, I know of Hat Film.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. It's Film Cow. I apologize. Yeah. So actually, Film Cow. They have a thing called I don't remember what it's. Did you watch all their shit back in the day?
Most of it.
Do you remember? I think it was Fanny and Earl. Does that sound familiar to you?
Oh, fuck. That does sound
they were like
familiar.
They were little like porcelain figures of like an old timey like farmer man and farmer lady.
I'm looking that up.
Yeah, look up Fanny and Earl and see if that looks familiar to you.
Oh yeah.
You remember?
Yeah, that's Film Cow. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
right.
So they had a thing where like
These
basically
look like things that were in my fucking grandma's house.
yeah, so like the joke, the formula with them was that like Fanny would be like, the woman would be like doing like weird Satan ritual shit, and then the guy would be like, Fanny, what are you coming to bed? And she's like, in a minute, honey, I have to summon
Kind
all
of gave
these
you like a
fucking-"
little bit of moral oral vibes in
Sure,
the dialogue.
Yeah, he'd be like, are you coming to bed? And then she'd be like, in a minute, I have to summon all these fucking demons, you know, and like but like, and then every video would end with this like weird ghost creature like showing up, and they called him the Spook. It was like, oh, there's some kind of fucking spook behind you, and she's like, a spook? And like Allie was cringing so hard because apparently it was a slur once, and I'm like, man, bitch, it is not that deep. But anyway,
It is not.
But what's so funny? Go ahead. Well, real quick. So like, just to continue that, because I love Fanny and Earl so much. So like this ghost thing would show up, and like it's what she summoned, like when she was doing her demon summonings, and like this ghost, like the Spook, his entire character is to get hyped about like shitty fast food. So he's like Pizza Hut just made a new pizza where the crust is a fucking pretzel, and they're like, ew, that sounds fucking gross. He's like, it's not, it's delicious.
I have vivid memories of watching this like in early college. I was baked out of my fucking mind because this is stoner humor, but yes.
It's so good, yeah. So,
but
anyway,
yeah.
Why did I bring this up again? Oh yeah, right. Spook and gook and goon and fuck you.
Yeah.
If it's not a commonly used slur, you can suck my dick.
I'm sure she has.
True.
But no, like I unironically like sympathize with you because at one point I dated somebody that was just like that, and it lasted like 2 days of like.
Well, no, I mean like she's not actually. It's you know she'll laugh at me with it. It's just like something that I can tell is like. Yeah.
It's weird though. Like I get it. I get that these words were terrible.
But your point is that like yeah, we can't like literally if you did that with every word that's ever been a slur, you wouldn't be able to use like anything.
Right. I mean, look to like the Cracker Pass, right?
Yeah.
Like,
do you remember? Do you know the streamer Hassan Piker?
mm-hmm.
Do you actually?
Yes.
He fucking got sent a Cracker Pass by it was like Triscuits or fucking Ritz or something.
It was I think Ritz that sent him like a Cracker Pass. I died when I saw that. I'm like, he actually got like a Cracker Pass. Oh my god. The internet is such a weird place sometimes. Like, sometimes I unironically think the world would be better off without it, and then sometimes I'm like, no, it fucking wouldn't. Like, if we didn't have the ability to organize the way we do,
it's good and bad. You know, yeah. I mean, it's about equal. To be honest with you, it's made the world more radical in good directions and bad. You know what I mean? It's made more people want Medicare for all, but it's also made more people want to, you know, kill all the minorities. So it's like it's a tough double-edged sword.
We no longer have the town square. We have Twitter. And I firmly believe that. You know, and this is exactly why the government wants to ban things like TikTok and all these apps because it's an easy way for people to communicate their actual thoughts and feelings and start to mobilize.
Definitely. Let me look through see if there's any more things to talk about here in this chapter. But yeah, I mean, like the funding that this fucking church must have. I mean, they have like they bought a fucking tall ass building. They have a huge fucking sculpture of chains. I mean, like, it's huge. And, like, you see the last couple chapters, I mean, like, they're on TV debating and stuff. They're, like, an actual... I imagine that there's so much of them now, it, like, counts as a real documented religion. I bet these motherfuckers are able to get days off of work for their fucking holidays, bro.
Can we start a controlled chaos religion? Like, unironically?
We don't have enough people. There's not enough people.
You need 10, I believe.
No, in order for it to mean anything, I want to be able to use it to get days off of work.
How many people? No, let me rephrase that. How followers?
Yes.
And do you need to be a verified religion?
Don't fucking pick and choose. I want the first goddamn answer.
Well, the first answer is from fucking Reddit. We don't want to do that.
I have no problem against Reddit. I don't know why people be shitting on Reddit.
Okay, we'll open the Reddit one, and then we'll open the fucking...
Give me the first three, or I'll Google it myself.
Yeah. WikiHow's another one, and MicroBeLife. Reddit... There's no answer in here.
Alright, I'm fucking Googling this. How many followers to be a verified religion?
So how to start a religion, planning, blah, 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 developing foundation name, develop a list of core tenets, talk to people about your religion, finding a meeting place, blah, 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 blah. 1023 easy. Churches are recognized as nonprofit according to the IRS, are automatically considered tax exempt. You do not have to apply for this protection if you meet the code's guidelines.
I think what they're saying is like you don't really need an amount of followers if you just call it like file it as a religion.
Mm-hmm. Meet the guideline for establishing a church. You need to have a creed, formal leadership, a clear history. The membership is distinct from other religious groups. There's a recognized course of study. Religion has some form of foundational text or a literary tradition, recognizes regular places of worship, and has regular congregation or services.
Okay, I mean we could make so we'd have to have like a creed and like a holy book and like something for them to study.
We can legitimately do this.
Our holy book is our entire backlog of videos. Every Sunday you must watch one Controlled Chaos video. Our devil is Lasher Luke because he's British.
I mean, that does technically fit within the lore of the channel. Unfortunately, I really think that Ann Arbor is more the devil because he's a smarmy little bastard when it comes to Yu-Gi-Oh. But,
yeah, but...
that's just my adversary in that series.
Our devil is fucking. What was his goddamn name? The guy that was like with us for a while and then he like dipped. Was his name Noble or?
Yeah.
What do you remember him?
Yeah, I remember him.
That guy is the devil. And of us three, who is the father, who is the son, and who's the... Okay, Thurman's the son for sure, because he's a baby child.
Yeah.
So who's the father and who's the Holy Spirit?
You be the father.
No, you gotta be the father, because you're old.
That's fair.
Because, okay, yeah, so you're the father because you're old and, like, you did kind of, like... I think you did the most work when we were starting. I'm the Holy Spirit because I've kept it going. My works kept it going. Your work started it, and then Thurman is the son that we drug along the way.
You know, that's
why he's not on the channel anymore because he fucking died. He got crucified. And every once in a while he shows back up.
He rises every 3 or so months to film a One Piece.
Exactly. Boom. Look at this. We're a religion now.
Hey,
what's Utena? What's Utena? Because obviously she's gone now, but she was so important. Utena
she's be Mary.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. But then there's implications there I don't like. That means Utena like birthed Thurman. What else?
She gave birth to a black child.
There's got to be something else. Utena is Moses.
She parted the seas with her art.
Yep. She parted the seas she gave us the path to success with her amazing artwork, and then dipped. What happened to Moses? Did he just dip? Did he die? What happened to him?
Do you think I remember? Like, I might have studied like 10 different religions, but I remember very little from any of them.
Utena is at the very least one of the
wise
prominent
men
disciples. I'm not gonna have her be Judas because she didn't betray us. She just dipped.
Judas.
Who is Judas?
Eli.
I barely even remember. Oh, like the OG. Goddamn, this is some guys. Deep lore you're getting right now. This is like the fucking the iceberg of Controlled Chaos. I mean, like, all right. If you've been here long enough, you know we started off as a goddamn Facebook group called Planet Unity, bro. Jesus Christ.
That like I logged into my Dead Names account because you have to keep it active to get that settlement check. So I logged in, tagged my new account, and nothing has happened in that Facebook group in the last like 3 months.
Oh,
like I used to get like 100 notifications from that shit a day. I got nothing.
It's dead. Facebook's dead, and they're dead. And also, how the fuck did they name it Planet Unity when so many goddamn racists were in it?
Because can I give you like some deep like
the deepest lore?
The deepest lore. Like a lot of fucking debaters, like power scalers, have deep-seated racism in them.
I don't know. That's a kind of a strange correlation. I don't know.
Like,
I
as
don't know
somebody
if I'm comfortable
that
making that correlation. I don't...
in like the game FAQs and all those like message boards back in the day, there was a lot of like deep-seated racism in that shit.
I think anime fans is one of those rare groups where you get a little bit of everything. There's hardcore socialists that are anime fans. There's hardcore Nazis.
Oh, 100%. Like, it's a universal media, but like in that particular subsect, there was a lot of racism. From my experience on those forums. I think it's because
power scalers and like versus battle debaters are like such tryhard. Like they get like these people are definitely cancerous because I don't know. See, there's a part of me that like I do enjoy taking fiction too seriously because in a sense that's what we're doing here. I mean, we talk for an hour every week about this chapter. You know what I mean? So like I have no problem with like over analyzing fiction, but like to me it depends on the type of power scaler you are, right? If you're the type that's like, because like there are people that like the idea like if their favorite character doesn't win the fight, they think like that means their favorite character isn't as good. That is some weird toxicity shit. But if it's just for funsies, like, oh, it's interesting who would win, then that's fine.
Yeah, no, like there are people that in that era when I actually participated in that shit, because I used to participate in that shit. Like there were people that doxed entire families because fucking Goku didn't beat Superman.
Didn't win! Bro,
no, like legitimately, like you all have heard the meme, like the amount of death threats like Death Battle got for that. Like there are people that got doxed online because of that on like those forums.
Doxing and swatting should be like an immediate like minimum like 5 years in jail. Like I'll be honest with you.
They are trying desperately to combat that so badly, and I am 100% here for that.
It needs to be like if you do it, you're disappeared for like 5 years. You know what I mean?
And it's not even the fact that like I'm a content creator. I'm not by no means like popular. Like
no, I saw a video. I think it was Aiden Ross, and I hate that fucking guy. You know, he's a fucking bad guy. But I saw him get swatted, and even I was like, man, no one fucking deserves this. That shit is shitty. Like he was 100%. Like he was golfing. He was at one of those like places where you can like just like shoot a bunch of golf shots, and like the fucking SWAT team came in, and I'm like, man, can you imagine not even be able to go fucking anywhere? Jesus Christ.
No, like I get that he's a shit human being, but like even a shit human being doesn't deserve to like on their day off while they're just golfing, doing nothing, not being red pilled and based as people would call him, like fucking just golfing.
It has little to do with him being Aiden Ross and more to do with I'm just uniformly against swatting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
100%.
Yeah, there are better ways to deal with him being a shit human being. I just don't like swatting. Like it's such a terrible thing. Because it's terrifying. Like it's something I never used to think about. But like, obviously, I don't think we're big enough where that would ever be an issue. But I mean, like, dude, oops, there was a fucking shot outside of my window, and now people can fucking like Google fucking Street View and figure out exactly where I live.
No, like literally, like that was terrifying for me when I lived at the other apartment because not only was I in a shitty one-bedroom sweatbox, right? It was the fact of like the location for where I'm at. Like, if somebody would have missed a shot, they could have hit, like, the college nearby. It was less about fearing for my fucking life and more about, like, fearing for others there. Like,
what are you talking about? We are not big enough to worry about that, Vex.
I realized that, but
you're
like,
very full of yourself if you worry about that.
But that was a thought in the back of my mind. Mm-hmm. Like, if that were to happen, like, some games even, like, unless you've put on, like, a dedicated stream mode, your fucking full IP is visible. It's weird, but like when I was playing Avengers, right? The shitty like Diet Destiny, that game that came out around the same time Jump Force did. Like there was a glitch in that game to where it displayed your whole fucking IP address on there. If somebody popped that in, found out my location, well shit. You know, that was a very real possibility. And if it was a possibility for me, it was a possibility for somebody that's immensely more popular.
Yeah,
like, it's fucking crazy.
I just want it to be like a minimum 5 years jail, like no questions asked. You know what I mean? Because I don't think it's
100%.
worth like it's not worth like life. Some people are crazy, like fucking life, like you know that's something you can. Because I could see someone like some idiot, like 16-year-old swatting someone, and then like 3 years later realizing like fuck, dude, why did I do that? Right?
Fuck, so, like, I was a goddamn idiot.
Yeah,
and
but
now
like,
I have a felony on my record.
Slap him give him 5 years. I think that's like a huge chunk of your life, but it's not like you can't have a life anymore.
Well, it would depend on like how they would classify the crime and how they would like. in America, we don't rehabilitate our prisoners; we make them repeat offenders. Uh,
Certain states are better than others, but yeah.
like it's a business here, unlike any other developed country, unfortunately. And a lot of people don't realize that any other fucking developed country does not treat prison or jail that way. They use that as a chance to try and rehabilitate and reinstitute the person into the goddamn universe instead of like, well, you can't have a job at anywhere but like doing construction or in manufacturing.
McDonald's always hire you.
Fucking hell.
My aunt fucking used to be a pharmacist, and she was like stealing like drugs to get high from the pharmacy, and she had to work at McDonald's for like 10 years after she got out of jail before she was able to get any other job.
Yeah, I mean, I had to do like when I got released, I had to do like X amount of community service and do like shitty menial jobs before I could even, get anywhere. And that was just for something that got me probation. That's how we treat.
Was that when which crime are we talking about here?
The one I got caught for.
Right, I don't want to just start listing the ones I know you've done. Okay, like which one are we talking here?
The one that was deemed assault.
The knife
with the landlord, yes.
Yeah, but that's based.
yeah. Well, by today's standard, a lot of people would consider it based, but like it's a very real. It's a very real crime that I paid for.
We deem you. The court deems you based and therefore are not guilty. The landlord's
Imagine
like, what
a reality
the fuck?
where that was the outcome of that.
Should
I
we
would never.
clarify
I
so
would
people don't think
never.
you murdered? Should we clarify so people don't think you murdered someone?
I threw a knife at a wall to get my fucking landlord out of my place of living,
So
and it was deemed.
Not that close. Yeah.
Yeah, it was deemed assault because
fair,
it was a threatening
honestly.
action.
That's
It
kinda fair.
is.
If you threw a knife at me, I would also probably want you to get a little in trouble. I think. Yeah, but I mean, he was a landlord, so fuck him.
Yeah. But yeah, like it took 3 years before that was removed from my record. And it was, something you learned from.
Yeah, as long as it gets removed. Should we get back to Chainsaw Man at some point?
Yeah.
Okay. I just want to make sure. I feel like we're spiraling. We're spiraling.
Yeah, we're spiraling.
So this
the mental illness is coming out.
This guy that's like giving them the tour, he's like so young. I think that's another fucked up thing about like there's a lot of like underlying fucked up things about this chapter and this church, and one of them is that this kid looks like he's probably like a freshman in high school. You know what I mean? And like he's just like
I was thinking he was more like a 7th or 8th grader, to be honest with you.
Yeah, literally maybe. I mean, like he's baby mode, and it's like so like I mean, yeah, you're probably right because he can't even say sex. He's like sex with a girl.
Right. That was like how I was kind of tipped off. Like the baby wording of like the act itself, even though like everybody knows what the fuck he's talking about. Made me think he was younger than like a high schooler. It was like, and we're gonna have sex, and you're gonna fuck, and you're gonna get married.
Gotta say, by the way, you remember how like last video, my whole thing was like, hey guys, let's not fucking like people have no memory. I swear to God, like we were talking about how people are like, yeah, Sword Boy, Denji's new best friend. This guy's so wholesome. It's like, nope. Like, not only is he fucking stupid, because every 3 seconds he's like, yeah, fuck America. Because he's believing in this, like, Alex Jones ultraviolet. Well, let me actually read what they said happened to the adults again. Hold on, let me find this shit. Yeah, the adults' mental faculties are diminished because an American ultraviolet ray. Which, like, oh yeah, dude, it only affects adults, not children. Yeah. Don't ask me why. It's because we're shorter than adults. The ultraviolet rays stop at, like, 7 feet.
Don't come down and beam down on us, right? It's like the fucking water turning frogs gay, level of conspiracy theory.
Only
here.
Frogs, though. No other creature. That's the crazy thing to me. It's like there's not even an attempt to explain why it only affects adults. You know what I mean? Like, at least with, like, well, I guess... Hold on a second. Because an American ultraviolet ray in Japan's air. If they were, like... If all they'd have to say to justify it only affecting adults would be to do like the lead thing, right? Because lead actually makes sense because there was a point where it was everywhere and now it's not. So all they should have said was like, yeah, dude, during World War II, because this is in like the 90s, so actually that'd be more recent for them. They'd be, yeah, during World War II, America put out this like cancer ray, and like all the fucking adults have like half IQ. We're all way smarter. But no, they're just the way they're wording it. It's like always there because they're saying like Chainsaw Man sensed it, bro. Which that's their fake Saw Man that said it clearly.
Right.
Which again,
and
good.
It's like this fake Saw Man is leading like the congregation, and not to like a actual church level, but to like a Joel Osteen, give me all your money so I can build this immense wealth and have a
Literally,
17th jet.
There's got to be some fucking money flowing, given how big this goddamn.
Right. That's why I was thinking like this is being symbolizing like a mega church like we have here.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I'm waiting for fucking fake Saw Man to come in on his private jet.
That's when Kishibe comes out. He's just like dripped in all gold.
Yeah, Kishibe is the top funder of the Chainsaw Man Church. He gets out. He's like, "Wait, I thought Denji was in charge of this. I was so proud of my boy. What the fuck is all this?"
That's why he just fucking nukes the church.
Yeah.
You're all blasphemers. My boy isn't doing this. It's you.
My boy would never.
My boy would never turn into like a creepy pedophile priest.
If Denji had a church, it would be run in a creepy shack in the woods, and it would have blackjack and hookers, just like I taught him.
Fucking Bender reference. Have you been watching the new Futurama?
No, I didn't even watch the old Futurama.
What the fuck?
It's too much, man. I watched the first season with Andy, and it's like mostly mid, with like good moments in between. I'm sure it gets better, but like I'm gonna need like a fucking top 10 list or some shit.
Like you want me to do a fucking South Park? We should do that. We should do that on kick.com/Vexatron.
Shut up.
I can get away with it there.
How long till you're on fucking Rumble, bro?
I'm not. I got my fucking username on. I'm not streaming on a fucking fourth website, okay?
You know what Rumble is? It's like a right-wing website. Get your transgender ass on fucking Rumble. See how long until they ban you.
I'm on Kick. It's just as bad.
God.
I got my fucking username, though. I fucking do that with every social media.
Amazing. Let's see if there's anything else to talk about here. I just think, okay, so like with this guy at the end here, who's Flamethrower guy, he's basically like, listen. So there's two vibes I get here, right? Either one, they, like with Makima, they want his power for something. But the other thing I wonder about, because the wording he uses is like, okay, imagine this. A scale. One of them is your normal life. The other one is just that thing that turns into Chainsaw Man. Which one? So, like, I almost wonder if, like, they have, like, a way to... Because the way he's wording this, it makes me feel like he wants to surgically remove Buchita from him and, like, take that from... But obviously that shouldn't work, because Buchita is his heart. Unless they can give him, like, an Iron Man situation here. You know what I mean? Or, like, some sort of artificial... Maybe he's being, like, just metaphorical, but, like, I almost got the vibe that he's like, listen, if you don't want to be Chainsaw Man... We want that shit. Because, again, they're running this whole church operation. I have a feeling this guy's, like, high up in the command of, like, fooling all these children to do cult shit. So I have a feeling he's like, do you know how much easier it'd be? We could get even bigger if... Because, he's kind of, like, speaking in code. Because he and Sword Guy know that Denji is actually Chainsaw Man. And so he's like, hey, why is Chainsaw Man not doing shit lately, huh? It's making it a little hard to run this fucking church now that you're not doing shit. You know what I mean? Like
right?
And that's probably one of the reasons why they switched to, like, Asa and started using her as, like, the scapegoat for it, because they're like, hey, we're really trying to run this cult, and you're really harshing our vibe by not doing Chainsaw Man shit anymore. We really need you to hype the people up. It'd be like trying to keep the Trump cult going if he just disappeared off the face of the fucking map. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's basically, I think he either wants him to come back, or he's like, or just give us the fucking power. But like, either way, we need you back. And then he's like super threatening at the end here, where he's like, enjoy your normal life while you can. So I mean, this guy is like mega threatening.
Oh, 100%. And it's a terrifying reality, right? Because we don't really know exactly what he's meaning by coding it like that, right? Because we could see him actually try to take out Asa. We could see him try to take out,
right,
like...
He says, I'll kill Asa to get you to come out, yeah.
We could also see him try and take out, things like Nyata and anything.
Not even necessary, because I'm glad you brought that up, but, like, we've already got the perfect situation here, because now, think about this. If he doesn't turn into Chainsaw Man, Asa dies. If he does turn into Chainsaw Man, Naoto dies. That's already a threat from Yoshida. So he's got it from both sides now. I mean, we've literally applied the Vice script. It's like, hey, fucker, start doing Chainsaw Man shit again, otherwise we're killing Asa. And then Yoshida and the government are like, hey, fucker, never turn into Chainsaw Man again or we're killing your daughter, right? So, I mean, like, literally now it's like he's in the worst case scenario and, like, something's got to pop.
Yep. And we are going to see this fairly soon. And that's what's really intriguing here. Because we do have, like, that Vice script situation. He's got this little pincer tactic going on with both sides trying to target his life. And when you have your life attacked from both angles, you break.
Yeah.
And something will give. It's just what side will he choose here?
That's kind of why he's wording it like that. Like, which side's heavier? Which side's more important to you? And, like, there's still an argument to maybe be made about, like, is Sword Boy... Sword Boy, I get vibes that Sword Boy's just a fucking idiot, you know, because, like, there's a panel of Sword Boy in the final page where he looks kind of just like, oh, that was a little intense, you know. So right. I do wonder if Sword Boy really is just a true believer and he's not trying to use him or be evil, but he's just stupid and being strung along.
Exactly.
Yeah, so who knows?
It's weird, right? Because Fujimoto usually layers on, like, a layer of ambiguity to everything, right? And that's what I love about his writing. But here, we don't have, like, so much ambiguity. We are a lot of shit open to interpretation. We have it all laid out. Like, we have the stakes for this arc laid out. Boom, 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 like this. With little to no surprise left to give, right? We haven't seen Bow, Spear, or Rize. Or, you know, Quan.
There was a Whip guy as well.
Whip as well. Yeah. Quan was Bow. Whip, Bow, Spear, and Bomb. We're still missing from the Fiends.
And they might not show up, you know. I could see
right. I mean, there was a valid point brought up in our comments last week that the church might be protecting Rize because she kind of isekai'd a bunch of people from the Devil Hunters, right?
Yeah.
Which I loved how that was worded so that YouTube wouldn't freak out. I appreciate that, my dude. I tried to link a goddamn clip from fucking American Dad to the person that pointed out the exact clip from the quote that we were mentioning, like "This is why you keep getting molested" scene. And YouTube was like, "Nope, you can't link that, motherfucker."
Well,
even though it was like goddamn
links in general, I don't think they do anymore. I don't know why, but yeah.
Fucking brain dead. YouTube is fucking stupid. I'll stand by that forever until they take the fucking copyright claim off of my own goddamn music. So anyway, my personal strife with YouTube aside, tried to link that. I'm like, never mind, can't do that. But yeah, it was American Dad. But we also have, like, Quan, who could just go back to mainland China now that she really doesn't have a reason to fight, right? Because all of her girls are dead. So why would she even be fighting?
I mean, dude, I worry about Quan. I mean, like, she looked mega depressed. And a good question is, because they're immortal, can they kill themselves if they want to? Because, like, honestly, I don't think Quan has much of a reason to live anymore. She looked very depressed even with her fucking harem.
Yeah, I mean, that's just what comes from the field, too. Like, we've talked about it. Like, this will eat you up and shit you out. And we...
oh, yeah. I just wonder. I don't even like. I feel like Quan has, like, no reason to live. Like,
it's the same. It's the same curse that would come from somebody like Wolverine or Deadpool.
Yeah.
Immortality is a blessing and a curse. You get to, you know, live forever, but you also get to watch everyone you love die around you. That's what I loved about, like, Old Man Logan and
she's eating all the food and she's fucked all the women and it's like, what the fuck is there left to do?
Yeah, and like
she's the strongest in the world. Unironically, the top of the verse.
Like Deadpool,
Mrs. Top of the Mr. and Mrs. Top of the verse.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be quite a couple. Honestly, that would be like the power couple of power couples.
When they slammed, they can't slam on the top floor because they would burst through all the fucking floorboards.
Just blow my fucking back out. Okay.
But then she clenches her pussy and, blasts his dick back in.
Dick just rips off.
But then he's like, little did you know, I had a contract with the Dick Devil, and he regrows a new dick, and then she fucking spits the old dick out of her pussy, and she's like, let's go.
fucking
And with that,
peace.